Yes.
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 Okay, great, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, now I will share my screen. Just a moment. Okay. Do you see the screen, guys?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, let's finish the final part of our previous lecture. We didn't have enough time to discuss these questions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you remember, our previous lecture was dedicated mostly to the prehistory, so to say, of digital revolution. I would say that it was a prequel actually to our course. Well, but now, as you understand, the digital revolution, the digital transformation is based on new technologies of information processing. And now I want you to know the main stages of information revolutions. So actually, what is an information revolution? It is a deep change, actually, a deep change in models and technologies of registration, collection, processing, and transmission of information. Well, to date, 4 information revolutions took place. Let's start. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I already said, we will discuss events that that date back very long ago, but still they have a deep impact on the nature of the actual information revolution. The first information revolution, okay, it happened, I guess, several millennia ago. It was the invention of writing. So people learned how to write. Ladies and gentlemen, it was the revolution in the field of registration of information. But what is even more important, it was the separation of information from its producer, its owner. So actually you could have information, and now you could separate it from yourself without sharing it with other people. You could just write it down, and this information could be accessed by anybody who can write and read. Actually, it is also the separation of information from material objects. I will explain. Each material object contains information about itself. For example, if you see an apple, not a smartphone, but a fruit, if you see an apple, okay, you can see the full information about this apple, its color, its maturity, its taste, etc. So each object contains the full information about itself. But in order to get this information, we have to try this product. We have to try this object. We have to touch it. We have to smell it. We have, I don't know, to test it, etc. In case of writing, the situation changes. A product, an object can be described. So the information about this product can exist separately from the product itself. Actually, it is a very important thing. Now, what I would like to highlight, it has a direct connection with the present e-commerce. Again, in case you go to a normal supermarket, you choose products by testing them. You test products directly. You test the information which is contained in the products themselves. But when you go to an e-shop and to an e-store, in this case, there are no material products. You have just information about them. And you decide whether to buy or not to buy a product on the basis of the information about this product, on the basis of information which is separated from this product. So now we can analyze information about objects separately from the objects themselves. It is really, really very important. For example, it's the foundation of management, actually, of multi-level management. You can organize processes you don't participate directly in. You analyze information about these processes and you take your decisions, etc. And now we have a possibility of transmission of information. Indeed, you can write information down and you can transmit it to anybody. So it was the first information revolution, very primitive one from our point of view, but still probably the most important one. Now, the second information revolution took place in the Middle Age. It was book printing. Well, it was a technical invention which allowed for fast distribution of information. Before this revolution, if you wanted to distribute information, you had to write it down manually. Now you can do it on the basis of technical tools. If you have, so to say, printing forms, you could produce as many units of information as you wish, and you can use it, and you can distribute them very widely. So it is a possibility of wide distribution of information. Now let's go further. The third information revolution is pretty recent. It goes back to the 19th or 20th century. Well, what is it about? It is about electric communication, wire, radio, phone, television, audio and video recordings, etc. So, what is it, guys? It is probably the father, so to say, of our modern digital revolution. It is the separation of information from material storage medium. Now, there is no need to write this information down on paper. You can register it on electric tools, and you can transmit them. So there is no more need to send material storage medium in order to transmit information. You can transmit them in form of electronic signals, in form of electric signals. So it creates a possibility of direct communication. Well, now it is the possibility of registration and transmission of non-text information. Indeed, book printing and writing, it is about text information. Okay, you have pictures, but still, it is mostly about textual information. Now, radio, phone, television, etc., they can transmit non-text information, voice, pictures, movies, etc. So now almost all types of information can be stored, transmitted, and registered. It is actually very, very important. And now we have a very fast exchange of information, indeed at the speed of light. So now we have a very important social and economic phenomenon, which is called contraction of the world. Guys, do you understand what it means? Contraction of the world. Any ideas? Guys?
Maybe it's about global exchange of information through all countries.
Well, you're absolutely right, but could you please specify why we describe this phenomenon as contraction of the world? Not high speed of information, I don't know, no possibility of universal exchange of information, but exactly the contraction of the world.
Maybe cross-cultural communication or something like that.
Not exactly.
No, I know that contraction is like when you reduce something. So it means that all the countries are like nearer. So they are more connected. Something like that.
Absolutely right, Dmitry, excellent. I will explain a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, In case you send a traditional letter by traditional mail, snail mail as we call it, okay, it will take a lot of time for this letter to get to the addressee. In case of electric communication by wire or by phone, it takes just seconds to arrive. So in this case, we have a contraction of the world. Distances disappear. Okay, material distances do exist, obviously, but information distances disappear. Now you can communicate in real time. And now it means that you can get information at the moment it is produced, it is generated. So it is exactly the contraction of the world. No more limits for distribution of information, no more barriers. So you get information at this very time when it is produced. Guys, do you understand?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So let's continue. Now we go to the last, okay, probably to the last for the time being, information revolution, which is the fourth information revolution. Now, electronic and digital information technologies, microprocessors and computers. So now we transform information into the digital format instead of electric one, and we can process and store huge amounts of information. And now we have internet, an international, a global network, which connects everybody to everybody. So we have a free flow of information. And now actually we have a very connected and actually a very small world. We know everything at the moment it occurs, obviously if the event is not hidden by authorities. So now we have now we live in the information reality, in the digital reality, not exactly in the real one. Ladies and gentlemen, it is exactly the change which occurred. Now, in addition to our normal material environment, our physical environment in which we used to live and to work, we have digital environment, which is also a business environment and life environment. And now we live in a cyber-physical environment, which I will discuss a little bit later. We live in this complex environment. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any comments or any questions about this information? Ladies and gentlemen?
No, it's absolutely clear.
No.
Absolutely clear, guys. I'm happy that that is clear. Okay, let's continue. I will switch to the next lecture. Just a moment. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Much, guys. So let's continue. Let's continue. Now we will discuss more technical questions of digital transformation, guys. We will discuss the impact which this digital transformation has on business organizations, on business companies, on business ventures, on markets, and on customers. It will help us to understand the effects of this digital transformation for the society in general and for the economic life more precisely, more specifically. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do we know about traditional business organizations, about traditional companies, so to say? How do they organize their business? First of all, from the point of view of materiality, so to say, of their operations, these companies normally use physical capital. Guys, do you understand what is it, physical capital?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, let's explain.
tools and machines and so on. Maybe that.
Okay, so some material objects which are used to produce final products. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Sorry. Tools, machinery, buildings, etc. Okay, cars in logistics and so on. So we have to use physical capital, guys. Okay, it is necessary for us to use such physical capital, such physical tools, because okay, we process material flows. We process material objects in order to transform them into final products. Well, we use machinery to process raw materials into, I don't know, into food or, for example, I don't know, furniture. And now we go to the second point, material flows. What are material flows? They are constant inflows and outflows of different resources and finished products, which are used by the company for its operations. Raw materials, as I have already said, fuel, money, because they are also materials. Okay, I mean cash, etc. Guys, do you understand it? Okay, basically resources, but resources are, okay, resources are inflows, material inflows, but there are also material outflows, final products, okay? Okay, so they are material objects which are processed by the company. When the processing starts, they are resources. When the processing finishes, okay, it is final product. Okay, so personal, guys. Obviously, each company has to hire staff. We need staff to work, unfortunately. Okay. While we use physical capital, probably some automated physical capital, we still need people who operate this physical capital, who take decisions, who do the job, literally. So a normal traditional business company, a normal traditional business organization has these three features: physical capital, material flows, and personnel. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there are probably three key aspects of production. Okay, let's go further. Now, what about the organizational aspect of business companies? Normally, a firm acts as a producer. What does it mean? A firm produces value. Well, it is the key function of a firm to produce value and to generate profits for its owners. Actually, a traditional firm produces this value itself. It processes raw materials and supplies final goods. I don't know, a furniture maker makes furniture, obviously, from raw materials, from wood, etc. So the production is concentrated, so to say, within this firm. Okay, the situation was changing slowly. As you probably know, modern biggest companies, modern biggest producers are not net producers, so to say. They are at the top of their value chains, but they do not control the value chain completely. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand what I mean? Okay. Absolutely right, Nikolai. Excellent. Thank you very much. I will develop your idea further. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is a value chain? It is a chain of suppliers of different parts of a final product. So, actually, if we are a car maker, I don't know, as Fiat, for example, or General Motors, we don't produce this car completely. Motors can be produced by an external suppliers. different parts of the car itself can be produced by a different supplier. Tires obviously are produced by rubber manufacturing companies. So in this case, a firm acts as a designer, which designs the final product, and as an assembler. So a company, a business entity, which assembles different parts of a final product, which are supplied by external parties, which assembles these parts into the finished product. Well, but still, even in this case, the firm acts as a producer. It assembles different parts. It produces the final value itself. Okay, obviously using resources and components supplied by external providers, but still the final value is produced by the firm itself. Guys, is it clear? Ladies and gentlemen?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. So what else? Guys? Another specific feature of firms is material assets ownership. I would say assets ownership. What does it mean? Normally, a company owns assets which it uses for its production. Okay, it is not necessarily real ownership. It may be a long-term lease, but still, a company normally has the right to use these assets for a long period of time. Why company purchase assets? Obviously, to ensure the security of their production. In this case, a company purchases machinery, tools, cars, etc. in order to be able to produce the final product. But guys, it is necessary to understand that material assets ownership and ownership itself implies high cost. If you want to invest into a factory, into machinery which is necessary to make this factory operational, well, you have to spend a lot of money. So investments into material assets are very, very costly. But still, these assets may be necessary for your production. Well, and the next point, which is not so obvious, but not absolutely correct. Guys, as I have already said, now I describe main trends. Not all these trends are present in all traditional business companies. As I have already said, firms do not produce the whole product. They may just assemble it. Not all material assets are owned by the company. And obviously not all companies are specialized. But still, these specific features are typical for most traditional companies. So what is specialization? It means that a company chooses one or several activities normally connected to its core activity and works in this field. So car makers produce cars, shipbuilding companies produce ships, etc. So in this case, we have a clear field of activity for each company. Why specialization is crucial for business success? Because thanks to specialization, you get experience, you get knowledge in this field, and you can become more effective than other companies which do not work in this field. And now, obviously, you cannot cover by your expertise all fields you are interested in. You have to choose one field which will be your basic one. And this is precisely the specialization. You choose a specific field for your activity, and you work within it. Okay. What else? From the point of view of human capital problem, or more precisely about human relations. Well, a traditional business organization normally offers long-term employment. This model of employment is called traditional employment. Guys, do you understand what it means, traditional employment, or even traditional capitalist employment? What it means, guys? Ladies and gentlemen. So not a very detailed description. Well, maybe some other ideas, guys?
Maybe creating a contract with the employments.
Well, but can you describe the specific features of a labor contract?
Well, I assume that we're talking about a job that has a specific work hours, that has a specific, like a defined wage, and specific rights and obligations in the contract. So this is like pretty much a formal contract. I imagine like someone that is working at a fabric or something.
You're basically right. I will develop your idea. Well, what are specific features of a traditional capitalist employment? Guys, don't be afraid of the word capitalism. It is absolutely normal. It describes the present reality. Well, what are the specific features of this employment? First of all, as you know, within the traditional employment, workers do not have access to capital. Well, they simply sell their work, their labor. Capital is provided by the employers. Guys, do you understand it?
Yeah.
Okay. Workers do not have machines, etc. They simply work for the capitalist. Okay, or more politically correct, at a big firm. Well, what next? Actually, as Luis said absolutely correctly, this long-term employment contract stipulates that there is a fixed wage, a fixed salary, probably with some bonuses or premiums, which are paid on defined terms. So you have a guarantee of salary, a guarantee of payment. You sell your work, and as always in case of normal sale, you have to get payment for it. So you sell your work and you get a payment, a salary. What else? Normally you work within your employer's premises. It is your employer's obligation to provide a job place for you, a working place for you. You don't have to organize it yourself. The employer has to organize this place for you, to buy all equipment, to teach you how to use it, etc. So the workplace is provided by your employer. And obviously, there are fixed working hours. It was absolutely correct. And you have some social guarantees. You cannot be fired without notice. You have vacation, etc. So you have some obligations, some rights, and some guarantees. Well, why it is important? Because for a normal firm, what do we have? As we said earlier, a normal firm invests into physical capital. And obviously it needs a workforce to work on the basis of this capital. This workforce should be skilled and trained. And obviously the employer is interested in keeping this workforce. This is why we have long-term employment contract. So to say, an employer buys this workforce for a long period of time. The employer ensures its security by having constant access to employees. Well, what about entrepreneurs' autonomy? A very, very specific question, guys. What do we describe by this term? Actually, an entrepreneur, a businessman, can take decisions on his or her own. He or she does not depend on anybody. Okay, actually, obviously, there are some dependencies. Okay, we may have credits from a bank, etc. But normally, we define our commercial and business policy ourselves. We take our decisions ourselves. And obviously, we take risks ourselves. So it is very, very important. All our relations with other partners are market-based. We purchase services and resources, we buy products and services, but it is not a dependence, it is just normal sales. So an entrepreneur is absolutely autonomous. The similar is true for the customer's autonomy. What does it mean? Actually, nobody can make us to buy anything we don't want to buy. We spend our money as we want to. We are sovereign, so to say, in the field of purchases and consumption. So it is very important to understand this. Entrepreneurs and customers are absolutely autonomous in the field of their decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And obviously, you should understand that both parties, entrepreneurs and customers, they have their own interests, which may contradict each other. Well, sorry, just a moment. Well, now, what about digital transformation? You see this beautiful and very sophisticated picture, which says that digital transformation actually includes two components, a technological transformation and an organizational one. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to prevent you from thinking that digital transformation is mostly based on technologies. It is not true. As American specialist said, digital transformation is not about technologies at all. It is probably a metaphor, but actually, you should understand that in case of digital transformation, we have two interconnected phenomena: technological transformation, implementation and use of new technologies, and organizational transformation, which implies that we change, we reconfigure our business model. It is absolutely important. Technological transformation without organizational transformation will not be efficient. Vice versa is true also. If you want to ensure an effective organizational transformation, you should provide for a technological transformation. What about technological transformation? It also includes two components: information transformation, so the change in the model of information processing, and material transformation. It means that our material assets, like machinery, etc., they also undergo changes. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, great. So please remember, in case of digital transformation, we have technological transformation and organizational transformation. Well, excellent. What else? What else? Well, now let's discuss. What do we have in case of technological transformation, guys? Virtualization, informatization, and smart automation. This phenomena describe informational transformation. Guys, do you have any ideas what these words can mean? Virtualization, informatization, and smart automation. Please, your opinions. Yes, hello, you're welcome. Please explain. Okay. 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 Well, great. Okay, some other opinions. Or Nikolai, probably you have something to add. Not actually. Okay, great. Anyway, thank you very much for your ideas. Thank you very much for sharing them. Guys, maybe someone else will try to share his or her understanding of these terms.
I have an idea about the third term.
About which one? I didn't hear you, Christina. So
Third.
Thank you very much.
So now there are some smart technological systems which can replace people forces. So in the business area, people don't need to do some things because some technologies can do it instead of them.
Okay, excellent. But could you please explain the meaning of the word smart? You are absolutely correct about automation. In this case, we replace people by automates, obviously. But what about smart automation? What it means?
Maybe these systems have some
I have an idea.
Yes, Alexandra?
Maybe because these terms refers to technologies that can make these operations better than people.
Okay, very good, guys. Well, yes, go ahead.
Some algorithm that they can make some decisions instead of people, maybe.
Excellent, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we discussed virtualization, we discussed smart automation, but what about informatization? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will help you a little bit. Okay, please remember these three terms: virtualization, informatization, and smart automation. Now, please remember them, and I will go back to our previous slides. Well, it is the description of the traditional business organization. Now, virtualization, informatization, and smart automation. Any ideas, guys?
It's about flows.
Excellent, Alexandra.
Flows of information, maybe of digital products and digital resources in the form of information.
Okay, you are right. I will help you a little bit, guys. So look, what do we have? In case of digital transformation, our physical capital is replaced by virtual resources. So it means that, okay, I will give you probably a somewhat old example, but you will easily understand it. Now, you can imagine a traditional supermarket where you go to buy products, okay, food, I don't know, or some, clothes, etc. Okay, it is traditional supermarket which has a physical store. Guys, do follow me, do you understand it?
Yeah.
Okay. So in case of a traditional supermarket, the owner of this supermarket possesses or controls some amount of physical capital, the building actually, the building and all the trading equipment. Well, what do we have in case of digital transformation? This physical capital is replaced by virtual one, by digital one. Instead of the supermarket, we use a website. For all probably a smartphone app. In this case, the material store, the material supermarket is replaced by a virtual place of meeting for customers and the seller. Guys, do you understand it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So physical capital is turned into virtual one. Well, what about material flows? Again, physical capital is, so to say, static. It is located in one place, it is used constantly. But we also have material flows, which are dynamic. They inflow and, they flow in and they flow out. Well, in case of a traditional company, there are material flows. Let's go back to our example with supermarket. This supermarket purchases products, purchases different items, and after that it resells them to customers. So the purchases flow. The purchases flow in, flow in, and the sales flow out. Well, what do we have in case of a digital company? In this case, all material flows are replaced by information flows. Actually, customers do not visit this store physically. They connect to this app or to this website. So it is an information communication. Next, normally this store, this digital store does not process material flows. It processes flows of information. For example, I don't know, information about, I don't know, like songs, music, video, etc. Now, what about personnel? Ladies and gentlemen, what is about smart automation? As you know, automation of production started very long ago. But now we have smart automation. In case of normal, I would say not so smart automation, what do we have? We use automates that can replace people as a source of physical force. So automates can work without application of human efforts, of human physical force, I mean. But well, there is still a need for personnel which controls this physical capital, who, so to say, push buttons. Who pushes button? In case of smart automation, the situation is absolutely different. In this case, these smart automates, smart robots, smart equipment can take decisions itself. It can decide how to adapt production process to the current situation, how to modify it, how to test it, etc. So it is about actually artificial intelligence. Probably not so developed one, but still in this case we replace humans not only physically but also intellectually. Automates can take decisions and they can process information. Guys, do you understand it?
Yes,
Yeah,
clear.
it's clear.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Well, what about material transformation, guys? Again, we have deep transformation. We have deep transformations in all fields of economic activities. I listed just a few ones. Well, we have the so-called new production. What is it? Ladies and gentlemen, we discussed it last time. It is about additive production. So we construct ready products. We don't process raw materials. Now, we also have digital twins. So we reorganize our production to make it more efficient on the basis of new IT technologies, but it is also closely related to information transformation, obviously. We have new agriculture. Guys, do you understand what is it? New agriculture. Guys.
I mean,
Not exactly.
Not exactly. Okay, it is pretty difficult to understand actually from these two words, but I will try to explain. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope most of you eat meat. Well, where do we get meat actually? What is a source of meat for us?
the farms. Well, I mean, these new massive farms that are like a lot of animals.
Not exactly farms, actually. Okay, from the economical point of view, obviously, farms are suppliers of meat. You're absolutely right. But now I want to describe the situation biologically. Animals are our source of meat. I hope you agree. So what do animals do? They process vegetal food into meat, right? Guys, do you understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it's very clear. But now, as you know, we have different projects which can be united under the umbrella term beyond meat. Probably you've heard about it. Those are called vegetarian meat. So in this case, vegetal resources are directly processed into meat. Have you heard about it, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely right. So in this case, we don't need animals anymore. So to say, okay, we may need them as pets probably, but not as source of proteins. So we can directly process vegetal sources of energy into meat. Oh, okay, obviously it is just an imitation of meat. But when technologies go further and become more efficient, in this case, probably all difference between meat, okay, I mean between a real meat and this imitated meat will disappear. So guys, we have this new agriculture, and I kindly ask you to remember this specific feature. Why it is so important? Because in case of digital economy, the disintermediation plays a huge role. Do you understand this term, disintermediation? Disintermediation, it is elimination of intermediaries. Elimination of intermediaries, direct interaction. And in this case, okay, I can give you an example. All of you know the platform Uber, which directly connects drivers and passengers. Guys, do you understand it?
Yes.
We don't work with taxi companies anymore. We can contact taxi drivers directly. The similar is true for Airbnb. I hope you know this booking service. Okay, normally we book rooms via hotels. Rooms are provided by hotels. Now we don't do, it is not necessary for us to do it anymore. We can contact room owners directly, and we can book rooms almost everywhere. So we squeeze out, so to say, hotels. The same is true for the new agriculture. There is no need for meat industry anymore, so to say. There is no more need in cattle breeding. We can directly transform vegetal foods into meat. So it is a very, very important invention. Okay, actually, as I have already said, for the time being, it is too expensive and not so tasty as the traditional meat. But still, it is a very good start. And probably in the
It's delicious.
Sorry, Luis?
No, nothing. That it's delicious, but forget it.
It's really delicious. Okay, it depends. Okay, you have your own preference. Excellent. So I'm happy you approve of my idea. But well, actually, this new agriculture squeezes out the traditional meat industry from the value chain. It directly processes vegetal resources into meat. So guys, it is a very, very important thing. Well, what about new energy? We discussed it a little bit last time. Now we go to the renewable sources of energy, as you know. They are not so reliable as carbon-based sources of energy, but still they are constantly gaining place, so to say. Well, and probably there will be some new sources of energy like hydrogen, which will replace fuel as motor oil. But well, actually, we have not only a digital revolution, We have also an agricultural transformation, and we have an energy transformation. Guys, do you follow me? Do you understand it?
Yes, it's clear.
Yes.
Okay, excellent, guys. Excellent. So, please remember it. So, again, I really want you to understand it. When we discuss digital transformation, in most cases, we mean exactly digital transformation. Transformation based on deep changes in information technologies. It is not absolutely true. Okay, digital technologies are indeed very important, but also our material production, so to say, changes, and organizational forms of business also change. And it has a deep impact on the economy. Well, what about organizational transformation, guys? Well, now, firm is no more a producer. It is a coordinator of producers. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand what I mean? So probably somebody else could explain. Guys?
Would you repeat the question, please?
Okay, do you understand what it means? Firm as a coordinator. It is not a producer anymore, it is a coordinator.
I guess it means like that, for example, I don't know, Coca-Cola, they are not producing per se. They are administrating all the producers, the sugar producer, the water producer, and Coca-Cola, the only thing that they do is that they assemble or they just label. So Coca-Cola is more than a production firm. They are a marketing and delivery firm, right?
Luis, I really like your example. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, can I ask, is it about outsourcing, like the company owns the trademark, but all the processes are not made exactly by the firm, just by outsourcing?
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much for your idea. Ladies and gentlemen, I really enjoy your opinions because they are absolutely correct. And I would like to highlight that outsources. Okay, I would like to highlight that outsourcing and Coca-Cola business model, they date back actually. They do not belong to the digital revolution. Why it is important to understand it? Many phenomena which are typical for the digital revolution appeared long ago. But only the development of technologies, organizational technologies and digital technologies made this phenomena more popular. Guys, do you understand? Ladies and gentlemen?
Yes.
And well, Luis, you are absolutely right. Coca-Cola is mostly a coordinator. It does produce some volumes of its beverage, but mostly a coordinator of a network of bottlers. Well, what about outsourcing? Absolutely right. In this case, okay, you describe the situation in which a company doesn't produce anything. It does just marketing and design of products. Absolutely right. In this case, firm coordinates production. It doesn't produce anything itself. I will develop the situation even further. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to taxi services. As I mentioned earlier, in case of a traditional taxi company, this company normally owns cars and accepts from its customers. Well, in this case, this company itself delivers value to its customers. It provides them with rights. Guys, do you understand it?
Yes.
Well, now let's go to Uber. What is Uber actually? Technically, it is just an intermediary, a platform operator, which helps you to connect to a driver. Well, but what does Uber? It develops price policy, it develops its brand, and it coordinates a big crowd of different drivers. So in this case, Uber does not deliver the value itself. It doesn't transport you, so to say. but it coordinates a crowd of independent suppliers. It coordinates this crowd, and this crowd itself delivers the value. Guys, do you understand it?
Yes.
Yes.
In this case, the production flow takes place outside the firm, not inside the firm, which was typical for the traditional production. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's really very important to understand it. A firm now just coordinates production, not operates. Well, look, actually, obviously, in this case, Uber coordinates independent contractors. Okay, they're very similar to workers, but let's forget about it. Okay, in this case, Uber coordinates small individual independent contractors. But I want you to understand that a firm is a bigger phenomenon than just an independent contractor. It includes many divisions, etc. So, what else, ladies and gentlemen? Nikolai, you're absolutely correct. Some firms, some business entities are mostly coordinators. Some entities are mostly producers. For example, ladies and gentlemen, here in Russia, we live in Russia, so could you please tell me how you can describe Delivery Club? It is a coordinator or a producer? How do you think?
Coordinator.
Well, some other ideas?
It's producer services or
Sorry?
services.
Svetlana, I didn't hear you actually.
It's producer of services.
Well, okay. Some other ideas?
Delivery Club simply connect producers, restaurants with the consumers.
Okay, guys, let's explain. I hope all of you know this company, Delivery Club. Probably you are customers of this company. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what does Delivery Club do? This company, as Jordan said absolutely correctly, this company connects restaurants to customers, right? Guys, everybody agrees.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's right. So Delivery Club, it is a place, a digital place, where customers meet restaurants, food suppliers. Well, excellent. So it may seem that Delivery Club is very similar to Uber, where, which is also a platform where passengers meet drivers, right?
Right.
Well, yes, okay. It seems to me that there is a note of doubt in your voice. Ladies and gentlemen, look, in case of Uber, what does Uber platform do? Actually, it just it just connects you to the driver. That's right. Well, what do we have in case of Delivery Club? I will help you a little bit. What is the first part of the name of this company?
Delivery.
Brilliant, Jordan. Excellent. Absolutely right. So, ladies and gentlemen, could you please tell me what does it mean actually? What does Delivery Club do? Absolutely right. Look, actually, what do we have? What do we have? Actually, this company indeed helps customers to find restaurants. Absolutely right. So it is a kind of a meeting place. It is a platform. So they coordinate customers. They coordinate. They mostly coordinate restaurants actually. But well, does this company create value itself? Absolutely, it does. Because Delivery Club hires couriers who deliver products to you. Guys, do you understand?
Yes.
So, Delivery Club does produce a real service. They create a real value. Because, of course, you find restaurants on their platforms, but, okay, find a restaurant is not enough. You still need to find somebody who will deliver food at your home. So, Delivery Club performs this function. Delivery Club has staff which delivers this food to you. So actually, Delivery Club acts both as a coordinator, which coordinates restaurants and creates a complex offer, so to say. And also, Delivery Club acts as a producer of logistics services. Guys, do you understand? Guys, do you understand it? It is really very important because, okay, Nikolai, I guess it was a question. You said that, okay, you, or maybe somebody else, I actually don't remember, sorry. That some firms can act as coordinators, some firms can act as producers, and I will add, some firms can act as both. So coordinating functions and producing functions are combined in different proportions in different companies. In case of Uber, it is mostly a coordinator. Okay. In case of Boeing, it is a combination of coordination and production. Because as I already said, Boeing has to organize its multi-level supply chain, but it still produces the final airplanes. In case of Delivery Club, okay, it is a combination of coordination and production. But obviously, Delivery Club does not produce food. It is done by restaurants. Delivery Club just provides us with logistic services, with delivery. Guys, is it clear? Ladies and gentlemen. It is clear to everybody, guys?
Yes, but I can't see the difference between Uber and delivery still. Can you repeat, please? What is the main difference?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's try to discuss it further. Jordan, in case of Uber, what does Uber platform do? It is just information services. It just matching. It just connection between passengers and drivers, right?
Right.
I have a question. How juridically this agency in Russia is look like?
Innokenty, unfortunately, I didn't hear your question.
Как юридически обозначается компания, которая является посредником между, грубо говоря, другими компаниями или физическими лицами?
Ladies and gentlemen, I kindly ask you not to switch into Russian, sorry. So Innokenty, please, next time, if you have questions, please try to ask them in English, okay? Well, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will try first to answer Jordan's question, and after that, I will go to you, Innokenty, okay? Jordan, let's repeat it. Okay, in case of Uber, what do we have? We have Uber platform, which is used as a kind of, modern phone system, actually. On this platform, you find drivers find passengers. That's all. After that, the drivers arrive at the place where a passenger is waiting him or her and rides it to the final destination, right?
Yes.
Uber actually doesn't do anything, material I mean. It doesn't supply any physical value. It just provides information services. It just connects independent contractors, drivers, to their customers, passengers. Well, so in this case, this firm, Uber, just coordinates drivers. It, so to say, it attracts drivers, it sets up prices for their services, that's all. Okay?
True.
Okay. Good. What do we have in case of Delivery Club? Okay, technically, Delivery Club is an electronic platform, a digital platform where customers meet restaurants. Well, as I already said, in this case, someone has to deliver this food to you, right?
Yes, like a taxi drivers.
Sorry?
Like a taxi drivers.
Well, not exactly. Well, taxi drivers are not hired by Uber. They are independent. They use Uber just to find customers. That's all. In this case, passengers find drivers, drivers find passengers. That's all. Well, in case of Delivery Club, restaurants find customers, customers find restaurants, but it is not all from the point of view of Delivery Club business model. Delivery Club ensures the delivery of the food from restaurants to customers. And this delivery is organized by Delivery Club staff. So Delivery Club is a logistic provider. It is a provider of logistic services, of delivery services. It has its own staff, which produces these logistic services. So it coordinates restaurants in order to create an interesting value proposal for customers, but it also supports restaurant activities by organizing delivery. And as I have already said, this delivery is a production process, so to say. This service is produced by Delivery Club, not by an external provider. Jordan, do you understand me?
Yes, it's clear now. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, what next? Ladies and gentlemen, now let's go to networking. What is it? Any ideas, guys? I will help you a little bit. Networking is about networks. Oh, sorry, Innocentia, I forgot your question. Sorry. Well,
Thanks.
Actually, I will be honest, I don't know how to answer it, actually. From the legal point of view, the situation is very unclear, actually. As we say in Russian, it is in gray zone. There is no precise legislation. So it is just an intermediary, which bears no responsibility for services provided by drivers, etc. It is just a matching agency, that's all. Now, as you probably know, the Russian government tries to implement rules for taxi services, precisely for Uber and similar, like Bolt, or you have heard about them. So in this case, driver's responsibility will be shared with Uber. But as far as I know, this project of law hasn't been approved yet. Okay?
Okay.
Well, so what about networking, guys? Well, in this case, what do we have? As we analyzed earlier, traditional companies possess assets necessary for production. In case of digital companies, it is not true. They build up networks. They use assets when they need them. So they operate on access-based model. In case and actually, it is the reverse side of coordination of the role of the new role of a firm as a coordinator. Firms attract partners which will make the work for them, and which will provide them with the resources when firms need resources. For example, you may lease a car when you need it. You may lease machinery when you need it, but you don't have to buy it. You can hire an outsourcer which will work for you, etc., etc., etc. Guys, do you understand it?
Yes.
It's not only outsourcing is just an example, but not the only example. Okay, so for example, in case of Uber, for example, Can we call this phenomenon as outsourcing? Can we say that Uber outsources its customers' requests to drivers? Okay, not precisely actually, because outsourcing is a somewhat different phenomenon. In case of networking, we find partners which will help us to create value. Okay? Outsourcing is just a specific case of this networking. Franchising is very similar to it actually. In case of franchising, as you remember, we authorize other companies to use our brand and our business model. We don't open our outlets, our subsidiaries in other cities. We find franchisees who will work for us. It's also about networking. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. What else? What about ecosystems? Do you know what is it? From the economical point of view, not biological one.
It is kind of network of organization. It includes suppliers, distributors, and competitors as well. Like everyone who are involved in the delivery of some specific product or service, and so they compete and cooperate to produce.
Valentina, really excellent. Thank you very much for your explanation. I really like it. Especially, I enjoyed you mentioning the combination of cooperation and competition. It's really great. I'm happy to understand it. Ladies and gentlemen, we will discuss this interesting phenomenon, combination of cooperation and competition, a little bit later. Well, what about ecosystems, guys? I will describe it in a more, in a narrow manner. Actually, ecosystems are business systems composed of independent suppliers or probably dependent suppliers centered around a core product or a core company, which add value to this core product and help customers to get higher value. A good example of ecosystem is Apple, as you know, which is surrounded by a lot of different apps, games, etc. As you know, here in Russia, Sberbank tries to build up its own ecosystem. Tinkoff tries to do the same. Yandex is also a very good example. What is the goal of these ecosystems? Ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, we said that traditional companies are specialized. Ecosystems have no precise specialization. They try to cover.
Не, не выставили.
Sorry?
А?
Danil, you have a question? Probably not. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, in case of ecosystem is not so. Ecosystem do not have a precise specialization. They try to cover all needs of their customers. What is the goal of ecosystems? They try to create a place for consumption where a customer can satisfy all his or her needs. In this case, the customer will not leave this ecosystem. He will exist within this ecosystem, and he or she will spend all money within this ecosystem. So it is really very important. Ecosystems are combinations of suppliers of different products and services centered around a core product, which create additional value for the customers. Guys, do you understand it? Absolutely right. Absolutely right, but I wanted you to understand it better. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, let's make a short break, and after that we'll continue. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much, guys. See you. Okay, dear colleagues, could you please confirm that you hear me?
Yes, everything.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, guys. So let's continue. Let's continue. Well, now we'll proceed to the analysis of other aspects of organizational transformation of companies. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have to mention? First and foremost, I would mention atypical employment. Because it has very dramatic effects for the employment and for the society. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have any ideas what it means, atypical employment?
Well, yes, it's. I assume that it's all the non-formal employment. Okay, so let's assume that there is one guy that sells, I don't know, apples on the streets, but he's not registered. He does not have a permission. So technically, for the tax revenue, he doesn't pay taxes, and that is a business that is not registered. So it's atypical because they should.
Well, Luis, I would clarify a little bit. Actually, describe a very sad situation, unfortunately, which is very common nowadays. But actually, if I understand you correctly, it is not about atypical employment. It is about atypical business, so to say. So this poor guy, he is doing his business illegally, as I understand it, without paying taxes, without permission, without having stable incomes. But well, he is not employed by anybody. He works for himself. Am I right?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Well, it's more about atypical entrepreneurship, which is very common. It is gray entrepreneurship, which is, Valentina, well, you have a question. Could you please ask me?
Question, but as far as I know, atypical employment, it's like not standard one, like seasonal, temporary, something like this.
Well, you're right, but your idea can be developed absolutely correctly. Atypical employment, it is not a long-term contract. It is seasonal, temporary, etc. But it is also without fixed payments. In this case, you may hire a person, but without fixed salary. He or she will be paid only when he or she has precise tasks, project payments, so to say. So no fixed wages, no fixed salaries, just payments from financial results of your company. Next, it may be a distant work. So in this case, this guy will not have a working place in your company. He will organize this working place at his home himself. Next, no precise working hours, etc. So it is flexible employment without any guarantees from the employer. And obviously, guys, in this case, we have no social guarantees either. No vacation, no social security, no guarantee from firing, etc. So it is very easy to fire such a worker because he or she has no labor contract, actually. It is just a flexible contract. Guys, do you understand it?
Yeah.
This person is actually not protected by labor legislation. He or she is not protected by trade unions either, because it is not a real employment. It is atypical employment without any guarantees. Ladies and gentlemen, why this form of employment is very popular right now? Okay, obviously, as you understand, this form of employment is it has its positive and negative aspects. From the positive point of view, okay, thanks to atypical employment, you may find a better balance between your labor and your personal life, thanks to distant work and flexible working hours. Why not? Well, thanks to absence of fixed salary, you may gain more money because your salary is fixed. But well, if you work hard, you can get more money, which is also good. But the problem is that these positive features are typical. Okay, they apply to highly skilled, highly qualified persons only. In case of normal workers or underskilled workers, it is obviously not true. In this case, they find their situation worse. No fixed salaries, no guarantees, etc. They can be fired anytime. Well, atypical employment, it is a really big problem. Probably you have heard this expression, precarious work, unstable work. So it is about this phenomenon. And obviously, why this model of employment is popular? Because, okay, it is implemented by employers. They are interested in having employees only when they need them. It is again a part of access economy. We rent equipment when we need it. We hire persons, we hire staff when we need it. No fixed contracts. The flexibility dominates economic relations, and labor relations are no exception. Guys, do you understand it? Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, actually both, because legal, okay, let's start by freelancers. Okay, freelancers, they are by all means atypical employees because they have no fixed contracts, but still they have more or less fixed partners, as you understand it. Well, what about illegal work? By all means, it is also atypical employment because, okay, when you have a labor contract, you are legally employed, or more or less legally. As you know, here in Russia, a lot of people are employed half legally in order to avoid taxes, but still they have contracts, so they have rights to vacations, to a kind of social protection, etc. Well, in case of illegal work, it is absolutely atypical employment. As you probably know, we have here in Russia a lot of workers which immigrated from Central Asia, from the former Soviet republics of Central Asia. They are partly employed illegally because, okay, they have no fixed contracts, and sometimes they do not even have a permission to reside here in Russia, but still they are here and they work. It is also atypical employment because, okay, companies are interested in reducing their labor cost. Nikolai, do you understand me? It is about all forms of work which do not comply with the definition of traditional capitalist employment. Being legal, being organized within employer's premises, having a guaranteed salary, having workers' rights, etc. Well, so illegal work, it is okay. It is a specific case of atypical employment. Okay. I would include Uber drivers in this atypical employment category. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to highlight a very important fact. As you know, Uber says that its drivers are independent contractors, are independent entrepreneurs who provides services to their passengers. Well, actually, Uber drivers, okay, most Uber drivers actually, sorry, see themselves as workers, as a kind of Uber employees. But as you know, they have no fixed salaries, no guarantees, etc. I don't know if you are aware about this fact, but in the United States, in New York, more precisely, if I'm not mistaken, Uber drivers sued Uber and insisted on recognizing them as employees. And interestingly enough, the New York court recognized them as such. So, according to the statement, according to what this court ruled, Uber drivers are workers, but obviously they use an atypical model of work. No fixed salary, no fixed labor contract, etc. Guys, do you understand it? Well, why Uber drivers cannot be considered as really independent contractors? Because they just perform tasks for Uber. Actually, prices for rides are set up by Uber. Passengers are selected with help of Uber, etc. So it is one can hardly see them as independent contractors. They are a kind of external workers of Uber. Guys, do you understand it? Ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely right. They are so to say halfway between contractors and workers. So they have all limitations of their working status because all contract terms are set up by Uber, as I have already said, right price, etc. But well, they have no guarantees, no workers' guarantees. So from this point of view, they're similar to contractors. Well, their tasks are similar to workers, but their, how should I say, their level of social security is similar to that of entrepreneurs, okay? So actually they have, how should I say, they have shortcomings of entrepreneurs and shortcomings of workers, actually without having advantages of both, okay? Okay, and now we proceed to dependent entrepreneurs, guys. Uber drivers, as I have already said, they are very similar to workers, but they have some specific features of entrepreneurs from the point of view of guarantees and risks. They can be described as dependent entrepreneurs. And well, now what do we have? Actually, many companies are now dependent entrepreneurs. What it means? As you know, the modern business life is dominated by platforms like Uber, Facebook, etc. Most sales are processed by these platforms. They represent an excellent marketing channel for different producers and suppliers. If you want to have your product sold, you have to cooperate with these platforms, but these platforms obviously impose rules. And well, it makes you dependent on platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard a recent case of Epic Games in the United States?
No.
No.
It's
What
when
case?
their game was deleted from Apple Store.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Okay, well, guys, I'm not a gamer actually, so I don't know what this game is about. I guess it is called Fortnite, but I'm not sure. Well, what was the case actually? This game was present in App Store and in Google Store. So everybody was able to download this game and to use it. But well, as you know, as many games, this game too has payments. You can pay, I don't know, for personalities, for different bonuses, etc. Well, normally, if you use App Store and Google Store, these payments should be processed by Google Store and App Store respectively. But Epic Games, they included their own payment system in their game. This payment system allowed users to bypass Google Store and App Store payment systems and save money Because, okay, obviously, when you pay within the game directly to its producer, you pay lower commissions, etc. Obviously, App Store and Google Store got upset by this situation, and they immediately deleted this game from their stores, from their platforms. So, ladies and gentlemen, what it means? It means that you may not modify your own product without consent of platforms. You depend on, on the policy of these platforms, on their rules. Guys, do you understand it, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Well, what else? The next point, which is also very important, it is about controlled customers, guys. Do you understand what it means?
Not exactly. No.
I will help you a little bit, guys. Well, as we discussed a little bit earlier, I will remind you. Sorry, I hope I will be able to remind you. We said that entrepreneurs and customers were autonomous in traditional business models. So we explained that entrepreneurs are not autonomous anymore. What about customers? Well, actually, the situation is as follows. Sorry. Well, as you know, platforms can collect information about yourself. So they can collect information about your purchases, your expenses, your customer behavior, about the time you spent on platforms, etc. And all this information can be used to, how should we say? If I formulate it in a politically correct way, it will be used to help you to find better products, to prepare targeted offers for you. But if we avoid this political correctness, in this case, this can be reformulated as follows. Platforms can use this information to manipulate you, to influence your customer behavior, to make you buy what you are recommended to buy. So actually it is a very important problem, because now we have a lot of information around us. And it is extremely difficult for us to make a good choice in this, with this abundant information. Well, platforms help us, so to say, to make a good decision by making recommendations, etc., by preparing targeted offers. But well, as you know, platforms mostly care about their profits, not about our benefits. And well, due to this possibility of manipulation, we become controlled customers. What does it mean? Okay, obviously platforms cannot order us to do anything. We are formally independent, but they can control and influence our behavior. They can direct us to decisions which are profitable for platforms. Well, and in this case, obviously, we will produce profits for platforms, but not necessarily we will get benefits we have been expecting. Guys, do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Well, absolutely right. Obviously, it is not a common rule. Obviously, we can avoid these recommendations. We can try to make our own decisions. But ladies and gentlemen, most people pay attention to these recommendations. And platforms makes us to buy what they wanted to have sold. Thanks to this, actually, customers lose their independence, lose their autonomy. They become a source of income for platforms. Guys, don't understand it? Actually, it means that, okay, customers do not have fixed contracts with platforms and internet companies. Obviously, we have no obligations to buy anything. But thanks to this control, thanks to this manipulation, platforms have higher guarantees of sales and obviously higher guarantees of income. Guys, is it clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So don't forget about it, actually. So customers are not independent anymore. Okay, formally they're independent. They are not a part of platforms. But from the commercial point of view, the control platforms have over our behavior is very, very high. It is not absolute, obviously, but it's very, very high. Thanks to the development of modern technologies, thanks to the development of big data, and thanks to the development of neuromarketing, okay, probably platforms will be able to control our behavior even better. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, what is the main direction of organizational transformation of business? Guys, I would explain it as follows. Actually, what a traditional company had, it had internal sources of costs. It means that a company, had to purchase all machinery, all equipment, etc., and the company had to hire staff. But obviously, these assets were a source of cost for companies, and companies were interested, and obviously still are interested, in reducing this cost. Now, what do we have? We have externalization of costs. What does it mean? Sources of costs go beyond the company. We use dependent entrepreneurs. Instead of buying our own resources, we find partners which will work for us. It is about networking, etc. We will have partners who will create value under our coordination. Well, we have atypical employment, no long-term traditional contracts. We hire persons only when we need to do so. So we put costs outside our company. Guys, do you understand? Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so obviously it helps companies to reduce costs, absolutely right. But it is not about, so to say, quantitative cost reduction. It is also about qualitative cost reduction. It means that we transform our investments into regular purchases. Instead of investing into assets, we simply rent them when we need them. So we reduce risks associated with these assets. Do you understand it, Nikolai? We don't reduce the quality of assets, obviously. We can even increase the quality of assets because, okay, we can rent assets from very professional companies and organizations. Well, actually, we reduce, we reduce not only costs, but also risks associated with assets, okay? I would describe it, I would describe it as a qualitative reduction of costs, okay? Okay, what about internalization of income? Ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, within the traditional corporate business model, customers exist outside company. They decide themselves how to spend money. Now the situation becomes different. Customers are internalized. They are partially located within the company, thanks to the control. Again, legally, formally, customers still are outside companies. But well, thanks to the possibilities of manipulation of customers' behavior, customers can take decisions which are profitable for platforms. And this is why we can say that customers are partially allocated within platforms. They become a source of guaranteed income for platforms and companies. Guys, is it clear? Ladies and gentlemen?
I don't really understand how, I mean, for example, I can use a taxi system like Yandex, but I can easily switch from Yandex to another taxi system. So I don't really understand how am I forced to use.
You're not actually forced. You're not actually forced. Well, what is it actually? Ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, a little bit earlier we discussed okay, first of all, guys, as I have already said, this control is not absolute. In many cases, you can switch to other suppliers and nobody can do anything with it. So you can switch to a different taxi provider, well, why not? But in some cases, it is not so. For example, let's imagine you use Yandex ecosystem. Yandex ecosystem can track almost all aspects of your behavior. It can propose you services which suit you very well. And okay, in this case, most probably you will purchase a part of products proposed by Yandex. Not all, obviously, but you will hear, how should I say, you will listen to these recommendations. And in many cases, as I have already said, you will buy some products that were recommended. Dmitry, do you understand me?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, so now let's continue. Again. So it is a reversal of traditional business model. In the traditional business model, costs were internal, income was external. Now we externalize cost and internalize our income. Well, sorry, yes. What about good news? Digital revolution creates new opportunities for small business. Ladies and gentlemen, what is important? Now you can easily launch your own business. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not discuss the legal possibilities of launching a business because, okay, you have to comply with tax regulations, legal regulations, etc. I just discuss the economic possibilities. So earlier, what you had to do to launch a business, you had to lease premises, you had to, I don't know, to repair these premises, etc. Now you just have to launch your own store, your own web store within a social network, within Avito, which is also a platform, etc. So you can easily launch a platform. You can easily launch a business on a platform. You don't even have to have specific webmaster competencies, web designer competencies. You don't need to create your own website because platforms provide you with all necessary support. Well, there are no market limits. Again, a very important point. Ladies and gentlemen, in case of traditional business, what you have to do? When you open your store, what happens to your audience? Normally, your customers will be either people who live close to a store, or people who works close to a store, or obviously people who travels, who marches close to a store on his or her way from home to work and back. Well, now you have no market limits. If you launch a shop on the web, you will get access to the global audience. Probably it will be difficult for you to serve the global audience. Again, if you live in a small village, I don't know, near Vologda, okay, in this case, it will be extremely difficult for you to organize supplies, to organize deliveries from this small village to New York. But well, normally you will be able to serve people far beyond your normal geographical location. It means that your target audience becomes bigger and that chances of your success are higher. Again, ladies and gentlemen, in case of unique products, it is very difficult to find enough customers in small cities and small villages. Even in big villages, it may be difficult. In case of web shops, the situation is absolutely different. All your internet users are potentially your customers. You have no market limits. Well, direct interactions with customers. Thanks to platform, Thanks to platforms, you can directly communicate with your potential customers, listen to their requirements, and answer with your proposals. Well, it is really very important because you can customize your products and because you can better understand how to adapt your product to customer needs. And again, support from platforms. Well, what I call support. Ladies and gentlemen, it is mostly technological support. You have all necessary infrastructure to launch your own e-store. Again, you can launch an e-store on Avito. You can launch an e-store on a platform. There can be a technological support, so you have anything to publish information about your products and about your advertising campaigns. But also you have, how should I say, you have also a kind of implicit marketing support. Because these platforms normally have a huge customer traffic, and it is easier for you to attract customers if you launch your sales on such platforms. Guys, do you understand what I mean? Sorry, Nikolai, I don't hear you. Obviously. In many cases, platforms are the best way for small businesses to launch a venture. Because okay, if you launch your business independently, autonomously, you will have a lot of problems. You have to find first customers. You will have to find a good location if you launch your business in the real world. If you launch your business on the web, in this case, you will have to promote your website, etc. If you launch your business on a platform, okay, it is easy for you to attract potential customers because you will be immediately included in the search engines of this social platform or business platform. Anybody will be able to find you, and okay, thanks to the high traffic on such platforms, it will be easier for you to get customers. Okay, Nikolai. Okay, so let's continue, guys. Let's continue. Well, but obviously, in addition to positive features, we have a lot of risks which are associated to digital transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we have? We have disruption of existing business models. Well, actually, thanks to digital transformations, new companies emerge, which is very good, obviously. But these new companies use new business models, which may be attractive for customers. And this creates huge risks for traditional companies, which are established, professional, have good reputation, etc. I don't know, have you heard the sad history of Hertz?
Hertz?
Have you heard the story of Hertz?
No.
Is it a company of renting cars?
Absolutely right. What do you know about this company, the new?
European, one of the main European renting cars company. That's all I know.
What happened to this company?
No ideas.
It went bankrupt. It went bankrupt this year or last year, I don't remember precisely. Due to what? Due to increase of car sharing. Actually, car sharing demonstrated itself as a more effective tool of car renting. As you know, car sharing is about renting cars also. It was more comfortable for customers, and traditional business model of Hertz, which was based on direct contact, personal contact, etc., and long-term rent. Well, this company went bankrupt. Do you understand, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, so it is about companies. So established companies may be squeezed out from the market. And obviously it is not good because these companies have competences, knowledge, jobs, etc. Well, what about society, guys? Again, let's start. Okay, there is a lot of risks. I just listed the most important ones. First of all, risks for privacy. Do you understand what I mean, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Data information.
Can somebody explain what is it?
So when companies collect personal data of their customers, they will know almost everything about them.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. They can know anything about their customers, and they can use this information for manipulation, which is obviously not good. Well, what about risk of monopolization, guys? Any ideas?
Also, when one, for example, one company starts to monopolize the market as the most successful platform. For example, we can see that Google controls almost 80% of internet advertisements.
Excellent, absolutely right, guys. New platforms, thanks to the digital networking aspect, they become monopolies and they control the market. They destroy competition, and well, it may create problems for customers and for the society. Well, what about risks of control? It continues the risks for privacy. Actually, guys, if someone has information about you, okay, he or she can control your behavior. And again, in addition to this, what I should highlight, if you remember, I mentioned dependent entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs, companies, business entities depend on platform policies. So in this case, behavior and decision-making of external agents can be controlled by platforms. Actually, it is a higher level of monopolization. And guys, risks for employment. Why it is important? Actually, as I already said, platforms and digital companies destroy jobs. They replace traditional work by atypical one. It can help to save money, but it leaves people without guaranteed income, which is obviously bad. So please don't forget that along with positive effects, higher efficiency, higher level of comfort, etc., digital transformation creates huge risks for such important aspects of our life as privacy and employment. Guys, do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Let's continue. Guys, can you explain the meaning of these abbreviations? Without Google. Please don't try to check it in Google. Please try to decipher them yourself. I actually helped you a little bit. G stands for Google. The first abbreviation means Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and in brackets Microsoft. Microsoft is not always included into this set of companies. And the next abbreviation means Facebook, Apple, Amazon. Any ideas, guys? What else? What next?
Nintendo. Nintendo.
Jordan, you probably like Nintendo, but it is not correct in this case. Some other ideas, guys?
Netflix.
Excellent, absolutely right. So Netflix, and G stands also for Google, guys. So big tech, we have an abbreviation big tech, so big technological companies, which control different technological aspects of the modern economy. Funk describes technological companies, while GAFM stands for companies which can really control the digital transformation. Because as you know, Google controls what? Google controls search engines, Apple controls apps around smartphones, Facebook controls social interactions, Amazon controls sales because Amazon is the leader in the field of retail, and Microsoft controls personal computers. So all these companies, all these digital leaders can control almost all aspects of our digital economy. In addition to these undisputable leaders, we have some other companies which can be added to the list of big tech. Guys, Samsung, you have heard about this company, I'm sure, Alibaba too. What do you know about Tencent?
It's a Chinese IT company.
Okay.
Which develops software.
What is its main product? Do you know?
PUBG Mobile.
Sorry? Guys.
Mobile version.
Okay, guys, I will help you a little bit. WeChat, probably have heard about it. It is a Chinese messenger, a Chinese payment system, etc. So these companies may also be included into the list of big tech because they control the Asian market. So, guys, what about these companies? They are indeed the digital leaders of the modern society. Well, now.
Sorry.
Yes.
What about Huawei?
Huawei can also be included in this list, guys. Okay. As I already said, or probably I intended to say, actually this list includes the most important companies. But well, some other companies can also be added to this list. Proposals about more companies include Huawei. You are absolutely right. They include also NVIDIA. Probably you have heard about this company. They produce video cards, and well, they include also Tesla. Okay, do you know this company, Tesla?
Of course.
Of course.
Okay, so guys, well. But main companies beyond FANG and GFM are Samsung, Alibaba, and Tencent. Well, what do these companies do? Okay, from the positive point of view, they create a new value by developing software, digital infrastructure, etc. But critics of these companies say that they avoid taxes, invade privacy, and destroy jobs. And all this is absolutely correct. Because these companies avoid taxes, they locate their activities in the so-called tax havens, offshores. You have heard about them. And well, thanks to this, they can avoid taxes. Guys, they have huge reserves of cash, billions US dollars, and they pay very low taxes. Sorry, what about privacy? Well, they indeed invade privacy by collecting information about our internet activities. We have already discussed it. And they destroy jobs. They destroy jobs by replacing human workers by automates, by transferring traditional jobs to atypical workers in order to save money, etc., etc., etc. If you want to read a really sad story of human or probably non-human work, well, you should read the story of workers at Amazon's British store. It is really sad. They have no guaranteed salary, they have no fixed contracts, and guys, they even have to live in tents close to Amazon store in order to be able to arrive to work in time. So they really create bad consequences for employment. Is it clear, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so you should understand it. You should understand it. We see beautiful interfaces of Amazon and Facebook, but their financial basis, their economic basis is supported by tax avoidance and invasion of privacy. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, what I would like to highlight. I mentioned this term digital transformation several times, but what it exactly means? Well, digital transformation, it is obviously a transformation of a traditional company into a digital one. Transformation from the technological organization, from the technological and organizational points of view. But this transformation is multi-stage, so to say. And it includes 3 stages: digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Well, these terms are borrowed from a very serious paper published in Elsevier publishers. So it is not my invention, it is a real description of 3 stages of digital transformation. Guys, any ideas what these beautiful terms can mean? Digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Not really, guys. Okay, I will help you. Okay, because I perfectly understand you. It is very difficult to understand the difference between digitization and digitalization. Okay, everything is about being digital. Well, what about digitization? In case of digitization, you transform your analogous assets into digital ones. You convert your assets into digital form. Okay, what is it? You convert your information into digital form. You replace, for example, your ledgers, your paper ledgers by digital ledgers. You can convert your assets into digital form too. For example, you replace your real store by a website. What happens in case of digitalization? In case of digitalization, you have, in addition to digital forms of your business, okay, you have also new effects for your business model. But it is mostly about new models of cooperation with the customers, new marketing channels, etc. Well, what happens in case of digital transformation? In this case, a deep transformation of your business model occurs. Obviously, your technological aspect becomes digital, but in addition, you undergo a deep organizational transformation. Guys, do you understand what I mean? Okay. In case of digitization, you transform your information, mostly information, from physical form, from paper ledgers, etc., into digital format. It's mostly about information, documentation, etc. In case of digitalization, you partially transform your business model into digital format. In this case, you use digital models to communicate with your customers, partners, stakeholders, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, I will help you a little bit. Let's imagine. Here at HEC, as you know, we use LMS. To communicate with students, as you know it. Okay, personally, I hate this system, but I have to use it. Well, how do you think? Using LMS is about what? It's about digitization or about digitalization?
Digitalization.
Are you sure, guys?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, what do we have in case of LMS system, guys? We simply transform our normal information exchange from paper readers, etc. We transform them into digital format. Do we add anything new to this communication with students and professors?
Not quite.
Well, actually, instead of putting a paper notice close to our study office, we simply publish this information in LMS. Do you agree, guys? Well, so it's about digitization. We transform information exchange from paper form, from traditional form, into digital one. Well, now let's go further. Do you know Tinkoff Bank?
Yes.
I hope most Russian students are aware about this bank. Okay, I will explain a little bit to our foreign colleagues which are present here, I hope so. Well, Tinkoff is the leading digital bank here in Russia. It is a bank without real outlets, without real subsidiaries. It operates via its website, phone line, and apps only. So it is an absolutely digital bank. How do you think? It is about digitalization, digital transformation, or digitization? How we can describe Tinkoff, guys?
That's digitalization, right?
Sorry? I don't hear you guys.
The second one.
No, I think it's a digital transformation because it's a complete digitalization. So actually, it's we don't have a physical base or a physical base. Yes.
Look, I will explain a little bit, guys. Well, indeed, Tinkoff operates via digital channels only. Everybody agrees. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is a digital bank from the point of view of its marketing channels. Obviously, all information is transformed into digital form, so digitization is has already happened. But now, what about digital transformation? Guys, how do you think? Are bank products proposed by Tinkoff different from bank products proposed by other banks?
No.
Not quite.
Okay. If you have Tinkoff if you have a Tinkoff credit card, is this credit card different from a credit card? I mean, from the point of view of its function, is it different from credit cards issued by other banks?
No, it's the same.
It's absolutely the same. If you take a mortgage loan at Tinkoff Bank, well, will this mortgage loan be different from a mortgage loan issued by another bank, by a traditional bank?
I suppose no.
No difference actually. If you open an account, with Tinkoff, okay, it will be a traditional banking account. So all products proposed by Tinkoff are traditional. Guys, do you understand it?
Yes.
Credits, services, accounts, deposits, etc. They are absolutely traditional. What happens in case of Tinkoff? It is a transformation of marketing channels and transformation of the model of communication with customers. But no real digital transformation occurred in case of banking products. Do you agree, guys? Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
So, and this is why we can identify the situation with digital transformation in case of Tinkoff as digitalization. So some changes did take place. This bank exists in a digital form only, absolutely right. But well, this bank uses digital channels to work with its customers, but no real digital transformation of business model occurred. This bank offers traditional products. So we can say that this bank corresponds to the digitalization stage. Is it clear, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay. No, it's about digitization at the first stage. Okay, sorry, Nikolai, it's really difficult because we have three different forms of the word digital. I perfectly understand you. Digitalization, it's about digital marketing channels, digital models of communication with external partners, but no real digital change of a business model, no real digital change of products, etc. Okay? Oh, absolutely right. I will help you a little bit. I will give you an example of a company which underwent a complete digital transformation, guys. It is Netflix. Do you understand it?
Yes.
Netflix. I hope you know the business model of this company. Well, how it operates. Its products can be accessed via internet, right? So it is a digital model of communication with customers. But in addition to this, we do not purchase movies or other forms of video, as it would happen in case of traditional video renting companies. This company proposes streaming services. Do you understand it? It is a temporary access to videos. Do you understand, guys?
Yes.
It is subscription-based access to videos by streaming. So it is a really digital transformation of business. In this case, we receive products in a digital form, and we receive it for a temporary use, which is completely different from the traditional model of selling CDs with videos. Guys, do you understand it?
Yes.
Okay. For those who speak Russian, I will give a translation of these terms. Probably it will help a little bit, guys. Sorry. I apologize to our foreign colleagues, guys. I will just want to help a little bit to students who knows Russian. Okay, digitization is translated as оцифровка. Digitalization as цифровизация, and digital transformation, guys, obviously as цифровая трансформация. Have you heard me, guys?
Can you repeat, please?
Sorry?
Can you repeat, please, one more time?
The first stage is оцифровка, the second цифровизация, and the last one цифровая трансформация.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, guys, let's continue. In case of implementation of digital technologies, we have different levels of implementation of these digital tools. We obviously have traditional companies. We have digital companies. We have digital replicas, digital interfaces, and integrated companies. I will explain what is it. Well, traditional companies, guys, it's pretty obvious. Companies that do not use digital tools. Companies which are absolutely traditional, the so-called brick and mortar companies. How do you think, in which field is it reasonable to use such companies without any digital tools? Okay, don't say without any digital tools, without a very limited number of digital tools. Obviously, a director of any company now has a smartphone. But well, I mean that digital tools are not used to create value for this company. How do you think? In which field can these companies be used?
Agriculture. Maybe.
Sorry?
Agriculture. Produce food, produce...
You are wrong, actually, because agriculture is a very digital industry. Really very digital, because, okay, they use smart automation. They use different types of different technologies in order to reduce cost and in order to increase the quality of production. We believe that agriculture is a very obsolete, a very traditional industry, but it is not so. It is very, very technological, even here in Russia. Agricultural companies are among the most advanced ones. I will just add some more information, guys. If I'm not mistaken, it was, I guess, Cherkizova company, I guess you have heard about this meat producer. They introduced 2 years ago, or maybe even more, a fully automated meat processing factory without any human workers. So this industry is really very, very advanced. Some other ideas, guys?
So maybe these are, for example, mining companies which are connected with resource.
Okay, not exactly, because they use digital modeling of reserves.
No, resource, for example, oil companies,
gas. Right, as I have already said, reserves, oil reserves, which are located in oil, how should I say? Under these guys, I don't know how to say it. Well, actually, they use digital modeling of oil reserves in order to better understand how to extract them. So they are also very digital, actually. Ladies and gentlemen, from the economical point of view, how should we take our decisions? We will not do anything if we don't get profits from this decision. Do you understand it? Guys, is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So, in case of digital technologies, okay, there is no sense for us to implement such technologies if we don't create additional value. It means that we may be a small company with traditional users. Just an example, imagine a small shawarma kiosk close to, I don't know, Kushilevka railway station. It is no use for this company to implement any digital technologies to connect itself to Delivery Club, etc. All customers of this kiosk are absolutely traditional. They will visit this kiosk directly and will purchase shawarma directly at this kiosk. Do you understand, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, what else? Digital companies, guys, it's also absolutely obvious. Companies that are entirely based on digital technologies, on digital tools, both technological and organizational. So platform companies which are entirely based on information processing tools. Guys, as you understand, from a real world company, it is very difficult to transform itself into a digital company. A digital company may exist only in industries which are connected with information. We sell music, video, audio, I don't know, software, books, etc. Well, only in this field, only in this information fields, we will be able to use digital technologies only. In case we sell some material products, I don't know, like food or drugs or furniture, in this case, we will have to use a combination of digital and traditional tools. Guys, do you understand it?
Yes.
Okay, so let's continue. Digital replicas, guys. It is probably one of the most difficult points of our course, of our today's lecture. Well, what are digital replicas? In case of digital replicas, a traditional business is accompanied by a digital copy. What does it mean? I will give an example. Probably you know a bookstore here in St. Petersburg, Dom Knigi, close to Kanal Griboyedova subway station.
Yes.
Well, it is an absolutely traditional bookstore. Okay, you can go there, you can buy a book. Okay, the price there is crazy, but still it is a very good bookstore, one of the symbols of St. Petersburg. Well, but they also have an e-shop. The e-shop business, now it is not the case, but earlier it was completely separated from the traditional business of this bookstore. So it is the situation when we have an e-store and a traditional shop which operate separately, which do not support each other. They may even compete. Guys, do you understand it? Ladies and gentlemen. Well, look, in this case, we have a traditional business, but we also create a digital copy of this business. In case of Dom Knigi, in addition to the traditional bookstore, we set up a digital e-store. Okay, do you understand it, Nikolai? Do? Okay, but these businesses are absolutely independent. They are separated from each other. So the traditional bookstore sells books, the digital e-store also sells books, but they are independent from the point of view of pricing policy, etc. Do you understand it? So in this case, traditional business serves traditional customers who enjoy visiting traditional bookstores, and the e-store is oriented towards more, how should I say, more fashionable customers, more modern users who prefer to buy via internet. Okay? Do you understand it?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Well, so the problem with that, these businesses may compete. Let's imagine, as you know, in many cases, it was typical for home appliances stores here in Russia, like Nvidia or Eldorado. I hope you know these brands. Well, they had that in addition to their traditional business, to their traditional stores, they also had digital shops, e-stores. And well, imagine, in many cases, the price in a store is lower than the price in a traditional shop. Well, you go to this shop, to this traditional shop, to buy a computer. You get full information from the seller, from the salesman. You get full information. You check the quality of the computer you are interested in. But well, as you decided to buy a computer, you say goodbye to the seller. You go to the website of this digital store and you buy the computer from this store at a lower price. So in this case, actually, these two businesses compete. You get information from the traditional business, but in order to buy a product, you use a digital business. So, and this competition reduces profits from the whole system. Guys, do you understand it? Okay.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, so let's continue. Sorry. Digital interface. Ladies and gentlemen, in this case, you create a digital interface to simplify interactions with agents. I will explain a little bit. As you know, here in Russia, we have leading social networks and cloud email systems like mail.ru, vkontakte.com, etc. As you know, you can send payments via these services. But probably you understand that these payments are not organized by social networks or mail services. They do not have competencies and even permissions to do so. Well, what happens? These payments are processed by one of the biggest Russian banks, VTB. I hope you know this brand. Well, and Vkontakte serves just an interface for this bank. So when you type the payment information of Vkontakte, in this case, you simply transfer this information to this VTB bank. Again, Vkontakte is just a digital interface for Vkontakte. Do you understand, guys? Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, great. So, and integrated companies, guys, what are they? These companies use digital traditional components as complementars. They create value together. They are combined in order to increase value created for customers and for the company itself. A good example is omni-channel marketing. Have you ever heard about it, guys? Omni-channel marketing.
No.
Omnichannel marketing is obviously a marketing in which you use different channels to communicate with your customers. phone, physical presence, internet, I don't know, apps, etc. So in this case, a customer may visit your shop, he may choose a product. After this, he can get a full information by phone. He can order the product he's interested in by internet. And after this, he can pick up this product directly from the shop. So all channels are used to communicate with the customer in order to create a higher level of comfort for him or for her. Do you understand, guys? What didn't you get, Nikolai? Could you please explain? Oh, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, again, in this case, we combine different channels to create value for our customers. We can communicate with our customers by phone, by internet, via internet apps, by smartphone apps, etc. So a customer is free to choose any channel for communication with us. He will get the same level of service via any channel. Okay? Editoriality, what is about? Guys, you probably have heard about it. Editoriality, I guess you know how it operates. You can orient your smartphone to a QR code, and you can get additional information about the object on which this QR code is placed. So, in addition to the real object, you get some virtual picture of this object. It's really helpful because, okay, you get more information. Tanya, please. Okay. Well, cyber physical system. Now I will get to the next slide because it is easier to understand on the basis of this picture. Guys, it is the explanation of a manufacturing process which is based on a cyber physical approach. We have a physical part, a real equipment, a real machinery, etc. And we have a digital part, which is marked in blue. We have, okay, in green we have a real part of this cyber physical system, and in blue we have a digital part, a digital model of a real production process. So as you see, let's start from the create word. Okay, in this case, a product is produced on this equipment, on this machinery. The results are communicated via sensors, I hope you see them on the picture, to the central information system. This central information system ensures integration between digital and physical components of this cyber physical system. Well, this information is aggregated and analyzed by an artificial intelligence, obviously. And well, after this analysis, management or operators of the system get insight about this production process. They get a better picture of this process. They understand better how to organize this process. And after this insight, they send an act command to actuators, real equipment which is equipped with sensors. These sensors receive information from the data system, receive recommendations from this data system, and these recommendations are implemented in the real manufacturing process. Guys, do you understand it? Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
So in addition to a physical process, we have a digital process. Well, guys, what you should understand clearly. Digital and traditional economy are not opposed to each other. They are not mutually exclusive. Actually, they should be combined in order to ensure a higher level of efficiency. So depending on the priorities of your business, depending on the specific features of your business, you have to combine different traditional and digital tools. Please avoid being too digital and too traditional. You have to find a right combination. This combination obviously depends on the specific features of your market. And well, how we can define digital transformation? It is about finding an effective balance between traditional and digital tools. Effective balance between traditional and digital tools. And of course, in addition to creating new digital companies, new digital products, we also have to adapt. Traditional companies to this new digital reality. While new digital companies start their own business, traditional companies, established companies are interested in implementation and introduction of digital tools. And well, a very good business is consultancy in the field of implementation of these digital tools for traditional companies. Guys, do you understand what I say?
Yes.
Okay, guys. If you don't mind, let's stop here before we proceed to the next part of our lecture. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much for your participation. Concerning the next seminar, well, I kindly ask you, as Professor Lipatnikov said, to start forming teams. I will try to upload topics today or tomorrow at the very latest. And next Wednesday we will discuss the schedule of your presentations and probably some technical questions if you have them. Okay, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, ladies and
thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your participation. See you next week. Goodbye, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, thank you.